Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Hope you are doing well. Welcome back to the another podcast. Today we have very special guest, someone who has not only cracked gate with special rank in the Air 4 in electrical engineering and Air 15 in data science, but has also built a strong career in Power Grid Power Grid Corporation of India Limited, currently working as a deputy manager. So today conversation will take you through the step by step from understanding gate to the preparation strategy to the career opportunities after it. So let's begin the session with Sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah, hello.
So could you please share a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Alin Anto. I'm actually from Kerala, my native place, even though I'm currently in Bangalore. And I'm a 2019 graduate from Electrical and Electronics Engineering from a state government engineering college in Kerala. And I did my, I passed out in 2019 from electrical, and I took a drop year for gate, and then I wrote the gate paper in 2020, which is in electrical, and then I got into a PSU. So I was working in the PSU up to 2025, and I was in the deputy manager position. And after in 2025, I took a pause from my career, and I resigned from that position, and I took a gap and prepared for gate data science and artificial intelligence paper, and I wrote GATE 2026 in Feb, and then I was able to secure AIR 15, All India rank 15 in the GATE Data Science and Artificial Intelligence paper. So that is like a brief introduction about me. Over to you.
So thanks for sharing. So transferring from electrical background to the computer science background is a big thing. So how could you manage those kind of like some different subjects you knew to those? So how you got manage those kind of things and
Yeah, actually, coming from electrical engineering to data science is kind of a not a usual step that people do, but there are some things that I found common in both things, and the math foundation behind data science, like which is linear algebra, probability, stats, and calculus. These math subjects were common even for the electrical undergrad. And when I prepared for GATE in 2020, also, these subjects were common. It was not up to the highest level that is required in data science, but it was not like I had to start everything from scratch. I had already like a good understanding of the math subject. And one thing was in my undergrad time, like when I was doing it, I already like into programming, and I was so actively like I took electives in computer science. I have done electives in data structures, and I have done electives in Python. I have done some Python related work during my like career in power grid also. So I was already like into somewhat. I had the footstep in this domain at least. And then when I actually resigned from my position and started to prepare actively, I kind of had to deal with the new subject like machine learning, artificial intelligence, and these other topics which are computer science related, more related to computer science. So it was not easy, but I was not starting from zero. And yeah, I had some standard resources which I used to learn all these new subjects. I actively like all the other aspirants or all the other students that were preparing were from computer science branch. So I also talked with them, I engaged with them, and I also like got to know what resources they are using, how they are like what mode of preparation they are doing. So that was how I tried to shift my domain.
so for someone who don't know about this gate, so what you exactly say that gate is and why is that it is very important?
Yeah, for someone who does not know gate, gate is like the gate was originally a exam that you write so that you will get an entrance, or you are like eligible to go and do a masters in the top institute of India like IITs, IASC, and NITs. So this was the original intention of gate. And over the years what has happened is a lot of PSUs and state government or central government positions started like recruiting actively from gate. So this happened somewhere in 2014, and since then a lot of PSUs have also been taking from gate. And recently, I think like in 2021, they have also added the option of writing GATE in two papers. So in one particular year, you are eligible to write in two papers. So if you are from computer science, for example, you can write GATE computer science, which is a separate paper, and you can also write GATE data science, means GATE DA, which is data science and artificial intelligence. So you are eligible for these two papers, and your eligibility is also starting when you are in the third year. Means if you are in the third year of your BTech, you can then apply for the exam for the first time. And if you get a valid GATE score or a high score, you can retain that score validity for 3 years. So even after graduating, you can use the same score to get into a master's program like in IIT, IIScs. And this is the only way if you are from a tier 3 college, right? If you are from, say, some private college or from tier 3 college, they don't allow you to take masters directly without writing GATE. So the GATE is like the only route that you have to do a MTech. If you're from NIT or IIT, they do have another mode of entrance. Like if your CGPA is above A and you are from a centrally sponsored institute like NIT or IIT, then you are eligible for the CFTI route, and you can also, without GATE, you can enter. But if you're from a tier 3 college, this is your only way to go into a master's program or a MTech program in one of the IITs or NITs. And the competition has been steadily increasing. Like it is like each year more and more students are aware about GATE, and more students are starting to prepare seriously. Even from some students I have seen starting to prepare even from their first year. But it is not necessary to do this. But yeah, from a third year, at least if you are aware about GATE and actively preparing for this, then you have a very good chance of like cracking a top score and getting into a master's program. So when you go into an IIT or an NIT, what you can expect is a better placement than your BTech college, or like than that you can get from a BTech. That is about GATE.
So, who should actually consider writing a GATE? Is there any age limit?
No, a GATE does not have an age limit. So when I wrote GATE this year, I'm actually 29 because my original, like I passed out from electrical in 2019. So after my undergrad, I had a 6-year gap, and then I prepared for GATE. So there is nothing stopping you from preparing for GATE. You can do it immediately after your BTech, which is more preferable. You can do it in your third year or in your fourth year. Even if you take a 3 years gap, or if you're like doing some job in a private company, even then you can prepare for GATE. There is no particular age limit.
How many attempts you have attempted, sir, to crack that A4 in the year 2020?
So yeah, actually for the electrical GATE, when I wrote it in 2019 for the first time. Means when I was in my final year, I wrote GATE. But at that point, I was not preparing seriously. I just registered for GATE, and in the last week, I just like somehow looked at the syllabus and tried to learn some aptitude problems and all. But it was a bare bones approach. Means I did not actively prepare for GATE. And then in 2020, what happened is, after my BTech, I actually took coaching from ACE Academy, which is in Hyderabad. I went to their hostel and I stayed there for six months. It is in Hyderabad for the electrical and electronic streams. I think that is one of the topmost coaching institute. So at that point of time, also they were the topmost. So I went to and I stayed in their hostel and studied for 6 months. So this was actually my second attempt, which I bought Air 4 in 2020 and in the electrical.
So, what was your personal reason for choosing this field?
Yeah, I was, as I said, I was from a state government engineering college, and there were placements in core, but I was not kind of interested in the companies that were coming. Most of the companies were software related companies, which were like third tier companies, and like TCS, Infotech, and these kinds of companies. So I was not actually interested to kind of apply for them. So I did not actually sit for the placements. I skipped to the placements. I was thinking that I will go for a master's, MTech, or I will try for a PSU. So that was my motivation to skip the placements and try for GATE. So even in my third year, like towards the end of my third year, I was thinking that even if I don't sit for placement, drop 1 year and I'll prepare for GATE. That like the because of the placements, it was like kind of edgy. Means the companies were not so good, so that is why I started to sit for like think about GATE.
Sir, can you please share your preparation strategy and how was your daily routine while during your preparation?
Yeah, for uh, for GATE DA, I will specifically say because most of you guys will be like looking to prepare for DA rather than computer science. So for DA, when I was preparing, what I have done is to break my preparation into 3 steps. For any exam, if you are wanting to prepare, there are like 3 main things that you have to take care of. The first thing is obviously covering the syllabus or covering whatever is the material that you have, the covering the resources. So this is the first part of your preparation. If you're able to cover 100% of your syllabus, I'm thinking and estimating that you're already above like 90% of the people that is going to write the exam. Like 100% syllabus completion itself is going to put you in a very like good position. And the second important thing that you have to do for any exam is a good revision strategy. So like revision is like the number 2 thing that you have to do. And the third important thing is lots of question practice. Means you have to like really take lot of questions and try to solve them. For technical exams, you have to have some practice. This might not be the case for some other general exams like SC or like state exam, but for technical exams which have a lot of problem solving, which have a lot of like option elimination, objective type of questions, what you really want is rather than like understanding the theory is one part of it, but you really have to practice a lot of questions. And for GATE particularly, if you see, there are some things called PYQs, previous year questions, and this is a question bank where you can download all the previous year questions and start to solve them. You don't have to like pay anyone to do this. You can just do. For computer science, for example, there is a website called Gate Overflow, and there you can get all the previous year questions for like up from I think 2000 to 2025 or 2026. So you can just start solving questions from that. So if you take care of these 3 things, that is covering your syllabus, which is 100, you have to try for 100% or at least 95% of the syllabus, and then you have to revise. You have to have a strategy for revision. Either you do revision weekly, like weekly one day for revision, or that you can decide accordingly, or maybe monthly 1 week for revision. You have to have some strategy for revision. It is not like you are covering all the syllabus but you are putting revision at the very end. That will almost never work because you'll start to forget what you learned, and then you have to take care of the practice also. So my strategy was, I will divide, if I have like 8 hours per day, then I will divide like 2 hours. I will do practice. I'll take some previous year questions and I'll practice. And 4 hours I'll watch lectures on YouTube, or like watch lectures on NPTEL, or like watch lectures from the coaching institute. And then the rest of the time I will sit for revising the old subjects. So I had this balance of like methods going. Like I was doing revision, I was doing practice, and I was covering new syllabus or new course. So this was my strategy.
So, how much time should someone spend to crack a gate per day?
So this depends on whether you are preparing along with your colleagues or you're like taking a drop. So it is not required to take a drop. It is not absolutely required because a lot of people are preparing along with their third year, preparing along with their fourth year, and are able to crack gate and get under like single digit rank, like AR1, AR5 or something. So it is possible to do this, but you have to stay very disciplined, and some amount of sacrifice is also required. Like suppose someone is in their third year, or maybe some student is in their fourth year. What they have to do is they have to like at least find out 3 to 4 hours per day. If you're able to find more time, that is better. But I don't think a student who is like actively, like regularly going to college and engaging with all the things that are going in college will be able to spend more time. So 3 hours, if you're able to dedicate for gate, that is more than enough. And one advantage that you're having if you're already a student is that you will not have a warm up period. Means you for a dropper, what happens is they're already out of the BTech, so their mental space will be somewhat different. So they will not be aligned towards the like coursework, or they will not be in that headspace where they're able to sit for like 3 hours continuously and solve some problems. But the advantage that a BTech student is having or a fourth year student is having is that they've already covered all the syllabus like freshly. They just have to start with revision and problem solving, and they're already in that mental space. So they don't have the warm up period. So for example, if I am starting to prepare and I have taken a drop, I will just waste one month or 2 months just doing some basic research, collecting all the resources, collecting all the questions, and I'll talking to friends. So this thing is not actually required for a fourth year student or a third year student, because they will be already motivated and already in that mental space to really start the preparation without wasting much time. And suppose someone is okay, they've already graduated from their BTech and they are taking a drop for preparing for GATE, then there is no upper time limit or something. I used to spend 8 hours to 6 hours per day, and whenever I'm getting like whenever I'm getting the like free time, I used to do stuff at least related to GATE, like look at videos of like previous year students, or like that is I was all aligning my life around things that are related to GATE, even if I'm not preparing actively. So there is no upper limit on how much time you can spend uh, if you're a dropper or if you're preparing after your BTech. Ideally, and some people also prepare along with their jobs. So this is another like third category of student where you have already got a placement, like say in some company, and you have to work from 9 to 5 or 9 to 6. And then after your work or maybe before your work also you're preparing. So in that case also, if you're able to get 3 to 4 hours per day, that is a good thing. But these third category of students generally have to put more effort, because doing work in a company and then coming home and then again like you have to spend your time on preparing. This is not that easy. A BTech student might do this, but for a person who is working, can like depending on the type of work that he is doing, this is not so easy thing. But I have still seen a lot of people doing this also, means preparing along with their job. So there is a lot of variety here. So there is depends on what category you are preparing from.
So, how did you choose the right study materials? So, could you please suggest any study materials, as you have experience in the electrical background as well as the computer background? So, could you please share any study materials?
Yeah, for the electrical side, I just went with like there are standard books for almost all the subjects, and there are NPTEL videos also. So you can NPTEL videos will be somewhat slower because they are assignment based and they have more examples, and their questions might not be GATE relevant. They might be like long assignments which does not align with the GATE style of questions. So you will understand all the concepts very clearly, but the question practice will not be very comprehensive in an NPTEL video. If you're preparing supplemental, the questions will not be like GATE style. They will not be like 2 minute tag questions. You have to sit for maybe 10 minutes to get some solution. So this is the problem with NPTEL. So ideally what you can do, you can for the practice part you can follow the NPYQs, and for the theory part you can follow the NPTEL. And NPTEL you can try to watch in 2x or try to watch in 1.5x, because NPTEL videos tends to be slower with more like more examples and more explanation. One more thing is you can directly download a PDF copy of a standard resource, like any standard resource. Like for example, if we just take any topic and just go to ChatGPT or Google and type standard resources like foreign authors or standard resources on this particular topic, which are used in the industry or which are used by some like good universities. So you can type this and then get a list of standard resources, download the top two, and then you can prepare from this also. But some people might not enjoy preparing from a textbook directly. They might prefer a video lecture kind of thing. So such kind of people can also take a coaching from a good institute. So there are 3 ways to prepare. You can directly refer a standard resource or textbook, or you can refer a NPTEL video, or you can go take some coaching. But coaching will like cost you somewhat. Coachings are mostly not free. You have to like take a subscription, and you have to pay a subscription. But coaching comes with the full package. Coaching institute, when you take the course, they will have lectures, they will have separate test series where you can practice the problems, they will have separate revision section. So it will be included, all batteries included approach. but it will cost you some money. That is the only disadvantage. But there are people who take coaching. There are people who do not take coaching and prepare on their own using NPTEL also. This is what happens in the electrical domain. When I come to data science, what usually happens is there are a lot of playlists available in YouTube, freely available playlists. NPTELs are not necessarily available, but like MIT free like MOOC courses are available, which are available for free. MIT, Harvard, these universities have good playlists on YouTube, and you can go through them. The problem is that there will be a lot of stuff which is out of the syllabus for GATE DA, and you have to skip over those videos because you will otherwise you will end up wasting a lot of time preparing something that is not relevant for GATE. So if you're preparing using YouTube lectures, you can also do that, but you have to be mindful of the syllabus part. And then one more thing is again, standard textbooks are there. What you can do is you can go and go to a IIT's web page, or like whichever college that you're targeting for your MTech. You can go to their web page and you can download their like syllabus or curriculum, and then see what standard resources they are also using. Or say, for example, if next year IIT Madras is going to prepare the GATE paper, so go to IIT Madras website, like go to their MTech program in data science, download their curriculum, go through whatever text standard resources they are using in their MTech program. So you will get a list of good textbooks, or maybe foreign authors which are like really top notch, and you can start to practice questions as well as the theory from this. But what I have done is I have used a combined approach. I prepared the maths part on my own using YouTube lectures and standard textbooks, and for the machine learning and AI part, I took the coaching. So I took coaching from Go Classes, which is an institute that gives coaching for computer science and GATE DA. So they have both, and there is a subscription you have to pay to them, and they will give you the lectures for AI, like machine learning, DBMS, data structures. They have their own like subject wise courses that you can purchase separately, or you can purchase as a bag, or like as a group, like single thing. So you can also do that, but it is also possible to like prepare on your own, but it will be somewhat difficult if you are preparing along with the college. So you have to spend time hunting like resources, collecting questions. So if you don't want to do this, you can directly take a coaching, but it is going to cost you somewhat.
So, how did you handle your difficult subjects or the topics? So, one can start their preparation through the easiest topic or the subject or the difficult one.
Generally start with the easier subject because you need to build a momentum. If you directly start with the difficult subject, you might not feel the motivation in the starting. So I would also suggest, if you are starting to prepare seriously, start start in a relaxed mode. What I mean to say is, if you're understanding that you can like spend 3 hours per day, do not directly start with the 3 hours. Maybe in the first day, spend like maybe 1 hour, and then slowly try to increase your time. So while selecting your subjects also, you do the same thing. Do not start directly with a tougher subject. Start with an easier subject and build the momentum. So because your coaching is going to take, or when you are preparing on your own, it is going to take some 6 to 8 months to prepare 100% of the syllabus. So it is a long time, it is a long duration thing. So if you are like starting directly with a hard subject, or trying to sit 3 hours when you are not even like feeling motivated to sit for 3 hours, when you are pushing yourself too much, what tends to happen is, in the first week maybe you will sit for 3 hours, and then you will not feel motivated. You will take a break for like say 1 month again. So intermediate or intermittent, what happens is intermittent preparation. So you will not have the momentum. You will like prepare for some day, one day you'll take break, again prepare for some day. So rather than doing this, starting slowly with easier subject, and like even 1 hour per day or 2 hour per day, and then slowly increasing the time, and slowly taking more and more tougher problems or more and more tougher subjects. This is the best thing. And whenever you are feeling like burned out, it is always best to not force yourself, but rather without forcing yourself, you can take one rest day if you are not feeling very motivated. But do not take 2-3 days in continuous rest. You have to immediately get back. And when you get back again, take some AC subject and then slowly build the momentum. So this is how I approach.
So we'll be having, and when we take for the GATE syllabus, we will be having a different subjects and different topics in a particular subject. So is that mandatory to complete all those subjects or the topics to crack the GATE, or else something any important topics we can cover and crack the GATE?
Yeah, actually, this has changed a lot, because if in 2018 or 2019, if I was answering the same question, I would say that there are a lot of important topics where questions keep coming repeatedly. So if you are focusing on the important topics of itself, you will be getting about 80% of the mark. But what has happened is, recent years, right, 2024, 2025, and 2026, what has happened is the pattern they are trying to change. The IITs are trying to change the pattern. This has two reasons. Like, the first reason why they are doing this is to get rid of the coaching culture. So what has happened is, coaching centers also know the pattern of the question. So the coaching centers also focus on the important topics, and they do not focus on the less important topics where questions are not coming. So to get rid of this pattern and kind of hindering the agenda behind this, like randomizing the questions, is to get rid of the coaching culture. So to do this, they have, like, they are starting to prepare random kind of question papers. If you see, like, a question might be coming from a topic which was not asked in, say, last 10 years. So this thing is starting to happen in the GATE industry, in the GATE exam papers. In almost all the branches, you can notice a similar thing. So in GATE data science, this year, what has happened? In the last 2 years, they have not asked a depth, like in-depth question, or like more questions from the DBMS topic, so the database topic. They have asked for 6 marks or maybe 7 marks. But in this particular year, what they have done is, they have asked for 19 marks. So if you are trying to analyze the pattern, okay, this particular topic is having less weightage, so I will not prepare this particular topic. If you had skipped this database and then gone to the GATE 2026 exam for data science, what would have happened is, you would have lost all the 19 marks, because more questions came from that particular topic. So for 2027 or for 2028, if you are preparing, you should not try to predict any topic. You should not try to predict that this topic is having high weightage, this topic is having low weightage. You should not do this assumption, because the industry, like IITs, are also purposefully setting paper which is unpredictable and unbalanced. So one particular subject might be having more weightage than the previous year, and another particular subject which was having like 10 marks, 15 marks of weightage regularly, might have a very less weightage, like say 4 marks, 5 marks. So this unbalance in the paper they are trying to bring. One, like, as I said, this is to like hinder the coaching industry, and also to bring a under, like, more importance to a BTech student rather than a dropper. So this is the second like purpose of doing this. A BTech student will have to deal with all the subjects in his undergrad, right? He will have like a 50% idea of all the subjects. But a person who is preparing seriously after 1 year might focus on certain subjects. So they might say, for example, in data science, they might skip the warehousing part, or they might skip the Python part, and they might have some justifications, like questions are not going to come, or this topic is easy, so I don't have to prepare. So people who are taking a drop and preparing, they might do this. So IITs are really trying to get everyone to prepare everything. Like you. So what I would advise for a future person who is going to prepare for GATE, don't have any assumptions regarding weightage of marks, or which topic is having more importance. You should actually prepare everything. Try to prepare 100% of the syllabus. Do not skip anything. So if you skip anything, and if you are really unlucky, 10 to 20 marks or 10 to 15 marks is going to come from the topic that you have skipped. So if you skip something, then you are depending on luck. Maybe if you are lucky, a question will not come from a subject you have skipped. Maybe if you are not lucky, then what will happen is more questions will come from that particular topic. So skipping a topic, or like giving less importance to a particular topic, is not a recommended strategy.
So what is the approach that you could suggest, that for daily we have to study for the GATE preparation? So, studying all subjects daily, or studying one subject, completing that subject, and going with another subject, or else studying all subjects and for dividing the time like that. So, what approach should you suggest?
So do not take, like, suppose you are preparing along with the college, along with your BTech. So you will get maybe 3 to 4 hours per day, or maybe even less than that, maybe 2 hours per day. So in that particular moment, you should not take more than two subjects at a time. You should, at max, you should do two subjects at a time. And on, like, what I would recommend is to, for one particular week, na, from like, maybe for example, from Monday to Friday, you are taking only one subject, like, and covering that subject only, and maybe going to the next subject only after 1 week. Because when you switch subjects, right, there will be some time wasted in getting adjusted to the context. So I would suggest at least keep subjects weekly. You should take one subject and then focus on that. And in like, this is one day itself, you do not take more than two subjects. This is definitely not recommended. But people who are taking a drop, right, full time, they are preparing from morning to evening, they are sitting and study. Those people can afford to do this. They can, like, take 2 3 subjects per day, and then they can do. But when you're preparing in college, then you should not do this.
What was your strategy for solving a previous year questions? Like, which one you have followed? Like, you have start solving the problems previous year questions at the 1 week before the exam, or else you have started solving these questions during your preparation. So, what approach you would suggest?
Yeah, the PYQs you should actually start as soon as you finish that particular topic. You should not wait for the December month, or maybe January month, or maybe even 1 2 weeks before the exam. You should actually, if you're starting from maybe August or July, then as soon as you finish a particular topic, you should go to the like, any website. Like, if you're preparing for computer science, or if you're preparing for data science, then what will happen is, there is a website which is free, which is called Gate Overflow. You can go to Gate Overflow, you can get the PYQs related to that particular topic, and then you can solve them. Or if you're having a test series, you are enrolled in a test series, you can go to the subject wise test or topic wise test. And you should not wait until after completing the syllabus 100%. Then you, like, this should not be your strategy. Like, after completing the syllabus only, I will go and do the PYQs. You should actually start the PYQs as soon as you finish a particular topic. That should be your strategy.
How important a mock test is in the gate?
Yeah, mock tests are very important. So mock test you should actually start to do maybe by the end of December, January. So I will suggest, if you are planning to prepare for the next year, so for 2027, and you are starting from April, or maybe you are already started the preparation, what you can do is, you try to complete the syllabus by November. Like, try to complete all the subjects by November. And December, what you have to do is, you have to revise all the subjects at least 2 times. You try to revise all the subjects that you have finished. And by the end of December, maybe in the last week of December, you can start writing full length mock exams. So full length mock exam, these exams will be usually provided by free of cost, by lot of a coaching institute. There are multiple coaching institutes that give full length mock exams for free. Or if you don't want the free version, you can go and purchase a test series where there will be full length mock exams, and you can do this. And once you write the exam, you will immediately get the result, where you can like, which all questions went wrong, how much marks you are getting, like, what is your rank in the number of people that has taken the exam. So these things you will be able to find out. And then your aim in the mock exam is to write the exam and spend the same time analyzing the questions also. So for example, in a December particular time, like particular day, you're writing a mock exam. Say in December last week, you wrote 2 mock exams. You should immediately go to the mock exam, the page, and then analyze whichever questions you have made a mistake. And you can keep a separate notebook for noting down your mistakes, like silly mistakes or conceptual mistakes. You can note them down, and this will give you an edge actually. So in the very last week of preparation, maybe in the first week of February, which will usually be the exam, like last last day of the first week of February will be the Sunday. So you can actually go through this notebook that you have already made, where you have already listed the most common mistakes or silly mistakes that you have made. So this is how you should prepare. Like December to January, like complete January, you should be writing mock exams.
So, what were the biggest mistake you made during your preparation, and what are the mistakes you suggest should be avoided during the preparation?
Yeah. So the one mistake that I made during my 2020 electrical gate preparation is to sacrifice my sleep for getting more time to prepare. So I was like thinking that if I sleep a little bit less, I'll get more time to prepare. So I sacrifice my sleep. So what happens is, even if you sacrifice your sleep and prepare more time, you that will negatively affect you in the long term. So you can do this for 1 day, 2 days, but in the long run, what will happen is it will affect your reasoning skill, it will affect your memory and your speed and your accuracy. Everything will start to suffer. So it is not recommended to sacrifice your sleep. You have to at least sleep for 7.5 hours or 7.5 hours regularly. And for anything, actually, not for preparation or for anything, you should not sacrifice your sleep. And one more thing is, when I was preparing for data science, what I used to do is I used to wait until a complete syllabus completion. Like if I'm taking data structures, and I will not start practicing the questions unless entire data structures subject is completed. So this is not something that you should do. You should not wait for the entire subject to get completed before starting the practice. Practice in the sense PYQs. So as soon as you complete a particular subtopic, you should try to find the PYQs in that subtopic and start to solve them. Or do not wait until the very end of your preparation also. So do not wait for 100% syllabus completion and then I will practice from test series, or I will start practicing from PYQs. This also you should not do. So this is a mistake that you should not make. I also suggest one more thing is, I have seen other students make this mistake, so that is why I will suggest you not to make this. Do not skip revision. So I have seen people actually covering syllabus one after the other, like one subject, and as soon as they finish that subject, they will go to the next subject and they will cover one subject after the other. But what happens is, if you do not revise in between, right, you tend to forget all the subjects that you have learned previously. So what you should do actually is, weekly 1 day or like monthly 2-3 days, you should specifically allot for revision so that you do not forget all the old subjects. So do not skip revision, do not skip your sleeping, or do not sacrifice sleeping, and do not postpone the PYQ practice. As soon as you cover a subtopic, you should start the PYQ practice also. So these are the 3 things that I will suggest, or these are the 3 mistakes that I will tell an aspirant not to make.
Sir, how did you stay consistent and be motivated always?
Yeah, being consistent like throughout 8 months or like maybe for 10 months, this is not easy. There will be always one particular day where you are not feeling very motivated, where you will feel okay, I will take this day rest. You will feel this is definitely going to happen at some point. So in that point, what you should do is, you should actually not push yourself more and more to again sit and even if you are not feeling to study, you should again not sit and force yourself to study. So what you should do is, if you're feeling that way, one day you can take rest. But the important thing to note here is, do not whenever you are giving yourself some 1 day as rest or one cheat day, what you should remember is, the day should not like start to become 2 days, 3 days, like that. So as if you are giving yourself one rest day, you have to make sure that the very next day you are actually coming back to the preparation. So whenever you are taking rest, do not make it like a continuous rest thing. So that is one thing I would say. And you can stay motivated using if 3 or 4 people are preparing, or if your friends are also preparing, then you can form a WhatsApp group or Telegram group, where you will every day morning or every day night, you will post whatever subjects you have covered, or whatever how much number of questions you have solved. So if some kind of group you are creating to do this, what happens is you will naturally feel motivated, because if you waste a day, if you waste particular day, what will happen is you will see the other people have done some work, right? You will see, okay, that particular friend has covered this topic. He has solved 50 questions. He has done some revision. So when you see this, right, you will naturally uh, feel to, okay, I should also not waste my time. I should also prepare. This feeling will come. So it is better to surround yourself with similar people with similar mentality. So if you are preparing, but if all your friends are not preparing and they are enjoying the social life and all the other thing, so this will cause you additional stress. So it is better to surround yourself with like-minded people who are also preparing. Or at least if you're not able to do this, go to the online community like Reddit, Telegram, Discord, and you can create a group where like people are preparing similar to you, and you can post your daily progress, or you can your activity what you did that day. You can post that in the group, and you can ask your friends to also post, so they will kind of act like your accountability partner. So this is something that you can do to keep motivation.
So, if someone got in much gap between the studies, so what are the suggestions would you give to them to get back to the studies?
So gap in the sense, if they are already graduated and then they are taking 2-3 years gap. So in that case, what will happen is the starting will be very starting to prepare again, right? Starting to get the old subjects, taking that. This will always feel very boring, or this will always feel very. You will not be interested to do this. So starting is the important thing. Once you start, you will naturally get into the flow. So the starting phase is very important. So you can do like you can start with easy subjects, or you can start with, if you like programming or if you like data structures, you can start with data structures. So you take easy subjects and then slowly build the momentum. Do not start gate preparation like you will change the world within one day. Do not start in this mode. Start very slowly. Try to build momentum. Try to build consistency. And for someone who is taking a gap, I am feeling that maths part will be the most uncomfortable thing, because the theory of other subjects will be used here and there during your job, or maybe some like during your projects or something. But the math part will feel the most distinct. So I will suggest that if you're uncomfortable with the math part, you can start it later. You start with some easier subject, and again, if you have taken a break, you will not have friends who are in the BTech, right? Or your friends will already be preparing for a job, or their friends will also be doing some job. So this is one more challenge that you have to face. If you are a dropper, or if you have so much gap, then you have to find similar kind of people who are preparing. And I think this will be more tougher to do. So find some people who are also preparing for that exam, and then form a community like a WhatsApp group or something, or a Discord server, where you are like then things starts to like come into place. So this is what I would suggest.
Sir, you have cleared the gate. So, what are the major opportunities that are available after clearing the gate? Could you please share us?
So someone is clearing gate computer science, for example. uh, there are PSUs that take from gate, and there are central government organizations that take from gate. So you do not have to go to masters or MTech. You can directly apply for the central government jobs or PSU jobs, which directly take based on your gate score. Like the weightage of the gate score will be like 85% or 90%, and then there will be a 10% interview round or written test, which will be like, if your gate score is good, then that interview is just like a formality. You just have to appear in an interview and you will get selected if your gate score is very good. So this is one opportunity where instead of doing the masters, you can directly go into a PSU and get a government job. That is one route. And the other route is you can do a MTech in like the top IITs or the NITs. So if you're particularly from tier 3 colleges, right? If you're particularly from private colleges, or state government colleges, or any other tier 3 college, what you can do is GATE will give you an opportunity to get into the IIT or get into NITs, and their placements will be generally better than what you get in your tier 3 college, right? And even maybe if the package is not good, at least the profile that you get will be better. So it is 2 years again you have to prepare for MTech. But the advantage is that your average package in the computer science, right? It is like in the average itself is like 24 LPA or like 20 LPA in most of the IITs. I'm talking about the computer science branch if you're doing MTech. So even if you prepare for GATE and get a good score, you can like do MTech from a IIT and then you can get a very good placement. And if you are preparing for data science GATE, then there is only one PSU that is taking currently from data science. So getting a direct government job is somewhat difficult, but there is still chance for getting that particular government PSU. But the advantage is that the MTech now you will get more favorable department. So if you are writing data science GATE, what will happen is you are eligible for data science MTech stream, like whichever MTech course is in data science and whichever MTech course is in signal processing, and you are eligible for this, and the competition is much lesser than computer science. So computer science, what happens is there is a like I think 1.5 lakh people are writing GATE computer science. Whereas if you see data science, there are only 70,000 or maybe 60,000 people who are writing data science. So the competition is like very much less in data science. But the disadvantage is that if you're aiming for a PSU, PSU is not aiming for data science.
So could you please explain more about the PSU job? So what kind of roles you will get?
I'll talk about data science because I know about one particular company, NIC and CRT. So these two companies take from GATE DA, and computer science also a lot of PSUs like Airport Authority of India and a lot of senior PSUs are also taking from computer science. The role that you are doing actually in a PSU or a state or a government college, so you are a government sector will not be too much technical. It will be technical plus some managerial part. So do not expect in a government company what happens is the promotion will be time bound. So time bound in the sense when you get into the company you will be some manager or maybe assistant manager or be like junior engineer or in that position, and then you complete a fixed number of years like maybe the first 4 years or the 5 years you will get a promotion. So in the private sector what happens is private sector the promotion depends on your performance, right? But this is not true in the government sector. There is a fixed number of years that you have to work, and if your performance is not so good or maybe performance is average, till after completing that particular period, you are naturally promoted. So it is like tenor based promotion where each post now to get a particular years of service and then you get promoted. Whereas in a private sector, it will be like you can get promoted really fast if your performance is very good, or you can be stagnant in one particular position if your performance is not that good. So that is one difference in the public sector. And the job in the public sector will not be that much technical. So do not expect a very highly technical job. And there are also research institutions that like BARC and BRDO that also take from GATE computer science. Like ISRO also has a separate exam, but they do not take from GATE, but they have a separate exam which is very similar to the GATE syllabus. So if you are preparing for GATE, you can also appear for BARC exam or ISRO exam. The syllabus is very much similar. So with GATE preparation, you don't have to separately prepare for their exam. The content will be almost similar. Like the coverage of the subjects are almost similar, and you can prepare for GATE, and you cannot expect a very good result in the BARC exam or the ISRO exam. So that is the like job opportunities after GATE.
So how was your transition from GATE preparation to working at a Power Grid Corporation of India Limited?
Yeah, actually, I when after finishing GATE 20 I got in a PSU, which is Power Grid Corporation of India, and this was like a kind of managerial job. So there was no technical. There was a very limited technical side to this job. So I was kind of expecting this already, but I was kind of expecting a suitable or a nearby posting, because the particular PSC that I was working in, like Power Grid Corporation of India Limited, this was all around India. Like this was not particularly limited to North India or maybe South India or something. This particular Power Grid Corporation of India Limited, you can find all around you. Means they have their presence in all of the states equally. So I was kind of expecting that I will get a home posting or posting near the south or nearby Kerala in the like 2-3 years. But this was the only disappointment that I had, is that the posting will be not so much suitable for you. So even if you are trying to go into a PSU, or even if you are like preparing for GATE just to go into a PSU, you should expect that your place of posting will not be favorable in most cases. So if you are from the south, you might be posted in say North India, or if you are from the north, you might be posted in say South India or like extreme east of India. So you have to be ready for this thing, and you cannot expect that you will come back to your, or you will get transferred back to your home state within 2-3 years. So it generally takes 10 years or 15 years if you want to come back to your home state, and that also happens only if you are like uh, very lucky. So in a PSU, you should always expect place of posting issues or remote locations. So these things you should be like ready for these things. When I entered into a private sector, like public sector, this was the issue that was bothering me also. Like how can I come back to my hometown, like home state? How much longer I have to like work in a remote area? So this kind of issues will be there. But you have to be ready for this.
How much gate knowledge is actually used in your job?
Yeah, I'll say zero actually, because in a government company, if you are going, they are hiring you for your reasoning skills, not for your technical knowledge. So reasoning skills in the sense, uh, they know that once someone has prepared for a gate, he is having some good aptitude and good reasoning skills. That is what they are aiming for. They are not aiming for the technical knowledge. Technical knowledge is like an additional thing that okay, that is anyway we are taking through gate, so we are sure that they are technically good people. But the kind of work that most of the time you will be doing is not related to whatever things that you have studied in gate. So this is also what I say is like one of the disadvantages. There are companies that have very good technical work, like say example for from computer science. If I'm saying ISO and BARC, if you're getting a government job in this thing, most of the work that you will be doing is already like on top of what date knowledge you're having. But if you are going to another company, not like research oriented company, like it is not like this ISRO or BARC, then what you can expect is maybe 10% of the work is on top of your gate, and like 90% of the work is managerial, or 90% of the work is like purchase related or tendering related work. So you this is something that you have to keep in mind.
So what are the skills important after getting into a PSUs?
After getting into a PSU, you should be having like good interpersonal skills, like soft skills should be somewhat there. It depends on PSU to PSU also. So in the PSU that I was working in, you might have to interact with the local people, the people in that particular area. So their language might not be suitable with your language. So I had to learn. You might have to learn a new language, to talk to the local people. So these things can happen. So the important skills in a PSU is like flexibility and soft skills. So ability to speak to a crowd, or ability to handle the local people in area, and ability to deal with your subordinates. So you will be directly in an executive position, right? So you will have like junior engineers, or you will have other people like below you also. Even when you're starting, like in the first year of your job, also you are expected to handle all your subordinates. So people will be reporting to you. So you have to deal with them. So these kinds of things are more important than the technical skills, and you should be somewhat aware. So if you're in the purchase department or if you're in the tendering department, you should be also having some skills in the low side also. So you should also know some like intellectual property laws, or like we should be aware in the basic level about the low side. So these are the skills which are more important than technical knowledge,
So
and it changes from PSU.
like an entry level. So what we have done much hard work to get to crack the gate, but those skills are not useful actually in the PSUs, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, that is what you have to expect. Like it is similar to our most exams. Like if you prepare for civil services, maybe, so you have to do a lot of history. You have to do a lot of like these things are there, right? But this is just a screening thing. If you ask an IAS officer, an IPS officer, how much percentage of the like actual thing that they learned or the history that they learned, what is it actually useful? So they might say it is like 10%, 15%. The journey is what makes a difference. It is not the actual absolute skills that you, absolute knowledge that you make. The journey will change your character, right? So that is more important. It is like, I know that in a PSU, there is no, it depends on PSU also. There are some PSUs that are having like highly technical job, but most of the PSUs are not having this thing, or it is very limited to only 2, 3 people are doing some technical work, and most of the other people are doing non-technical work. So gate is having this problem. So the original purpose of gate is do a masters, right? Not to go to a PSU. So this is expected only. Like you're not doing masters, you're going to a PSU. So you should expect non-technical work.
So if someone is starting gate preparation or they are in the middle of the preparation, so what would your step-by-step advices would you give to them?
So someone if someone is just starting their preparation along with college, right? If someone is starting their preparation along with college, so these are like I will try to explain this from their point of view. So someone is say in their 3rd year or 4th year, there will be a lot of things going on. There will be some placement stress. There will be some financial stress from the family side because you are about to and graduate and you don't have a job. So someone might be in that mental space, and some people might be focusing too much on projects rather than placements, or too much on like pet projects rather than gate. So there are a lot of variety of people, and some people might be fed up with technical side. They might be like taking my like just want a degree. I don't have nothing to do with lot of variety of people you can find from a 4th year or 3rd year, right? So from their perspective, what I would say is, if you are like not aware about gate, or you just know the basic about gate, like you only know gate like for 1 month or 2 months, and what you should really do is you should consider whether you need a MTech or you need a PSU first. This should be very clear. If you're like approaching gate, it should not be like, okay, I will prepare for gate, and after gate, when the result is coming, I will decide whether I have to go for a PSU or MTech. This should not be the situation. If you are preparing for gate, or if you're planning to prepare for gate, you should already have a clear cut idea in mind, which are the like PSUs I want to go in, or which is the college or which course I'm going to take. This idea will actually kind of motivate you also. And so this is one thing. And just do not go for gate if you're if you from peer pressure. Say do not start to prepare gate from your peer pressure. So you do not have a clear idea, but you can see your friends are preparing, or maybe your parents are saying to prepare, or maybe you see some YouTube channel and they are saying you have to prepare. So in that situation, right, you should not take a unfiltered, or you should not take a decision based on this. If you have to really analyze what are your financial situation, what is your financial situation, whether you can take a drop or whether you can skip placements, because preparing for placements and preparing for gate at the same time is kind of a risky thing. So what you should actually not jump into this decision. You should actually think like 1 week or 2 weeks before actually taking the decision, and you should be very clear, like MTech or PSU. This once you have decided, okay, this is the thing that I have to do, then you should start to collect resources, or maybe take a coaching, enroll in a test series, or collect PYQs, and make a friend circle like people who are preparing. So once you've decided, you can go for these things, but do not start preparation in a confused state. Like I'm not sure whether I will write date. I am also trying for placements. I am also trying for maybe non-technical jobs like civil services or something. Do not be in this confused state and then prepare for GE. think about this for 1 week and then decide, or maybe 2 weeks and then decide. And once you have decided, then do the needful things like making a group, writing resources. So this is what I have to say for someone who is starting to prepare.
Come to end up. Thank you so much for sharing your journey and valuable insights. I'm sure this conversation will help for the beginners and the many students and all the dropout the preparing for the gate. So thank you so much for your valuable time.
Thank you, Bhavana. Yeah, thank you, Bhavana, for the opportunity. Yeah, and I hope your viewers got something insightful about watching. If someone is watching like is not aware about DA, yeah, I hope they got some information at least about DA and the opportunity after gate.